squatting toilet on a moving train. Ironically, right next to us, it had another toilet, but it didn't have a picture on it. And it was written in Thai, but it was an American toilet. And I think this is God's sense of humor of saying, I want to see how Paul's going to handle this. If he's ready for this, he's ready for the jungle. So, in essence, we repatriated. My group's called Maximum Recovery in Southeast Asia. We repatriated the remains we brought home. To my knowledge, it's the first time American military servicemen have been repatriated on American soil since the Civil War. Of the remains we brought home, the crew had 10 men on board. We brought home 3 of them, and one of those was my dad. Last year, 2015, around Memorial Day, we brought my dad to Missouri, to Jefferson Barracks, and buried him next to my mother. That's, in my humble opinion, that's keeping the faith. I miss them terribly, and hopefully it's an expression of how much I love them. For us, band of brothers, we keep the faith. We'll bicker and we'll carry on, particularly if you're a Marine. We're brothers. And the brothers that we've left behind deserve our true nature in keeping the faith. Now, she just got up and walked to the back of the room there. We'll take a moment. Back in the room there is my wife, Nita. This wasn't look at this one person going and getting his dad. There was a lot of people involved. And in particular, my wife, Nita. Nita was born in Thailand. Just through God's good grace, we came to know each other, got married. And from early on, it was fortuitous. I told Nita about my father and how we were actually in Bangkok at the time. He's just over there. And she says, do you ever think about going to get him? I said, I think about that all the time, but I don't know how to do it. Well, I speak Lao. Really? So what we did is in 2011, I was still working in Bangkok. We ran over to Laos. And we learned what we didn't know about what it takes to go and find American remains and bring them home. When we decided that it's something that we could actually do, that's when the impossibility steps in. Look at the condition of our country. Oh God, we're lost. It's impossible. No. We talked about the American spirit, the heartbeat, the belief. What is impossible? 50 years ago, if you had something impossible, you went to the shed, you pulled out your tools, you pulled out your materials, and you fixed it. And that's what I did. I pulled out the tools, I pulled out the materials, and we set about fixing it. Nita went with me again on the 2012 trip. We hiked through the jungle. If you guys have ever done any jungle training, then in the movies they've got their machete and they're going through the jungle swinging that bad boy like this, and the jungle just falls away from them. I'm here to testify that's not how it happens. When you get into that thick jungle, and there should be an expletive right before you say jungle right there. What you do is you bend your butt down and you hit the jungle 3 times and you take 1 step. And you bend your butt down and you hit the jungle 3 times and you take 1 step. And you do that for a couple of days. Then you get to see who you are. There's 4 lines in the warrior ethos. The first line is the mission comes first. To be a warrior, you've got to have a mission. The second and third line is I will not surrender and I will not quit. Now, after 2 days in the jungle, jump, 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 step. Quitting suddenly starts feeling like an option. And we actually came to a point, and there was a picture of it. I was sitting on this embankment, and Neetha calls it the first time she ever saw me with no hope. And this is a moment in your life where there's just no hope. And I was sitting on that embankment, it's like, my God, have I done enough? Have I shown my Father I care enough? Here I am in the middle of nowhere. I'm just wore to the bone, afraid. It's okay if you're a warrior and afraid. Courage cannot happen if there's no fear, right? Scared. You know, there's, 20 million unexploded ordnance in Laos? What happens in that next step? That's the kind of stress we were under. And I was sitting there with no hope and sort of fighting inside my mind saying, I've done enough. My God, I've done enough. But the other side of me, line 3 of the warrior's ethos, you won't quit. If you've got the mission, you won't quit. Finally, and this, it's not like, I just hopped up. It's like, oh, Jesus, just one step. Get me up one step. One step, okay, another step, okay, another step. We searched for another half day. Wading through, it's like out of a movie. You're in these creeks and wading through the creeks and going up through the jungle and I'm walking along, and if I was to look at this carpet right here for 2.5 days, and then I walked over there and the carpet's pretty much the same right over there, but you did one minute thing different over there, I could tell you what you've done. Because I knew exactly what the jungle floor looked like. And so I'm walking along this creek bed, and there was a little glimmer of light. And after 2.5 days, that didn't belong there. There is no glass in the jungle. Boom, little flash of light. You're stopping, you're looking. You're backing up, trying to get your head in the same place. Oh, there's a flash of light again. Neetha and I are looking down and around and scared. This might be it. 45 years and we might be there. And we couldn't speak, dumbstruck. Finally, a little, it's like a fuse or a resistor, a little electronic piece. Oh, that definitely doesn't belong here. Look over here. Oh, look at this. And then we're looking around. It's like, wow, we found it. And people say, well, did you have this? No. First of all, war slap out. Second of all, we were in the mission. Step 1, step 2, step 3. Step 3 was find the crash site. Step 4 is prepare your campground. We immediately went to step 4. It was like we were heading back towards Thailand before we actually stopped and said, wow, look what we did. Wow. And then it was like, we have bones with us. And we have artifacts with us. And I'm still thinking, people aren't going to believe us. And believe it or not, a lot of people didn't believe us. We had bones, we had artifacts, and people still said, no, this isn't right. That's another thing about dreaming, about getting into that impossible place, is you have to believe in somebody's dream. With Russ, Russ heard, oh, you got your dad? Wasn't any, well, I want to see the proof in that. No, Russ grabs the phone, he says, hey man, I heard what you did, I want to help. I want to help you do this, let's bring him home right. Wow. Because to do that impossible thing, you've got to have people that believe. Why don't we believe anymore? We've become so cynical. So my wife, we're at the crash site, and we've been there already a day and a half or so. And we had talked about, in a plane crash, you don't end up with bones, you end up with bone fragments. And the ground there was this soapstone. And it looked a whole lot like weathered bone. So Nita spent days on her hands and knees going through the soapstone looking for the bone marrow matrix on the backside of the bone fragment. Somewhere along that time, she found
over 30.
It was she found 37 bones in one rock, and according to JPEG, that was exceptional. She did it because of that tenacity, you know, that I will not quit, that third line. Along the way, an insect bit her on the side here, a poisonous insect. It set up necrosis on her side, and it started to eat away at her towards her lung. She was under a doctor's care for over a year. But a year after the mission, Nita was back in Laos. We still had more work to do. She looks cute. She looks all this and that. That woman's bad to the bone here. So don't judge a book by its cover. Probably the baddest person in the room sitting right there. I was there. I saw it. I know. Nita and I, we had to drive. We had this motorcycle. It was like a, what was it, a 175, something like that. It was me and Nita and 80 pounds of gear on the back of it, and that bike was teeter-totter. And the Ho Chi Minh Trail was rough. So we're driving along the Ho Chi Minh Trail, and we were coming up this hill, a little gas, but it's so rutted out, you know, you had to be careful of that. And I looked ahead at this curve, and to the right of the curve was a sand bog. You know, this is lava rock, and it erodes, and it went down, and it built this sand bog. And to the left of it, the ruts were, 2 feet deep. And there was this nice little path right up the middle of it. I see that path, I know where I'm going, no doubt here. From the back of the motorcycle, keep to the left, stay to the left. No, baby, it's all right, I got this. I got the path, here we go. Honey, keep to the left, keep to the left. So, I thought, well, a couple of times you brought that up. What happens when you have that nice little smooth area up the middle there is that fine sand gets on it. But of course, you don't realize that until your wheels slip on it. And so we got up there and the wheels slipped, and I'm wrestling it. Nita's on the back, she's just holding on. And so then we get down into the sand, and give us some gas. Yeah, but we're losing our momentum going up that hill. And then I see the front wheel starting to come off the ground because that 80 pounds in the back, in the hand. And I see the front wheel go up, and suddenly I'm looking at the sky. And it starts to tip off to the left, and I'm thinking, God, I should have took the left. And the motorcycle hits, and Nita's flying, and I'm flying, and the bike, and since Nita was behind me, she's going down the hill first. And the bike is heavy enough, and it's laying on me and sort of anchoring me. So I'm not keeping up with her. And she slides down, and she stops right at the edge of the road. Now, the problem with this is we were going uphill all this way, so the edge of the road was actually a sheer drop-off. And, I don't know, 50 feet?
40? More, at least.
It was quite a ways down there. Yeah, we were at the top of the trees that were down there. And so Nita, she gets up, and she didn't have to walk over to the edge. I mean, she was right there. And she looks over, and she looks down, and she realized she was about this much from pretty bad hill. And so I got up, and I realized what had happened, and she started, her lips started to tremble a little bit. You know, this is real. When you're in the jungle, it's very, very real. You know, it's okay to say afraid. And so her lips started to tremble, and I went over to her and, you know, and I held her. And she sobbed a little bit. I'll give her credit for that. She had earned it. So she sobs, and then she pushes me away, you know, one of these, and she says, I told you to go left. But it was the next thing she said that I hold on the most. She said, let's go. She didn't say, enough's enough, let's go home. What she said was, let's go. Where's courage? Judge a book by the cover. You know, I was scared out of my mind. Imagine what she had. Let's go. Courage only comes when fear's present. We've become afraid of fear. What's up with that? Not embracing fear limits what we can do. If I was afraid to go to Laos, we wouldn't have done this. Right? So when you come to that place, when our country comes to a place that we're afraid, embrace it. That's the only way you achieve exceptional things. The only way you achieve courage. So, if I don't take anything away, I want you to see what courage looks like. It's right there. If you guys didn't get the memo, by the way, southern St. Louis area, Fenton, Arnold, is becoming the mecca of POW-MIA. My friend Mark Noah of History Flights knows where Fenton, Missouri is. You know, Mark's a guy that brought 36 Marines home, including one Medal of Honor winner from Tarawa last year, which was more than the government did total in the entire world. He knows where Fenton, Missouri is. A lot of people that do this kind of work now know where Fenton, Missouri is. Got the POW-MIA Museum. It's actually becoming that point. That's what's been missing in our movement. That's what's been missing in keeping the faith, is we've all been scattered around doing whatever. And what we're getting now is a centralized area where we can say that's where home is. So it didn't just happen generically. There's something about the people of this area that really understand what keep the faith means. And I appreciate that about you. You guys have always been that way. I appreciate that. For my own personal efforts, we have been back to Laos. Our last trip, we were held at gunpoint. A really antsy militia guy holding an AK-47. That was fun. Luckily, I had my chief negotiator with me. Oh, Katota. Oh, I'm sorry. Kotombon, I want good merit for you. I want good merit. She was negotiating. It all worked out. Luckily, those communists it's all about price. No. We weren't negotiating our future. We were negotiating price. But it is interesting. Some inside track of what we're working on. We have documents and good intelligence that says that a significant number of Americans were left behind alive in 1973 in Laos. In 1983, there is good intelligence that they were taken to an area called Atapu province and executed. We believe we know the name of the village that supplied the laborers that prepared the site for that. Are we keeping the faith? Is it worth it? No. That's my mission. And I'm not saying that needs to be your mission. What's your mission? Don't expect extraordinary things if you don't have a mission. We'll be back in January. We have Delman Pittman his brother Alan. We've made 3 trips to that site. We believe we're going to bring Alan home this trip. One more family that's going to get the benefit of keeping the faith. So for my wife and I want to thank the people of Mariposa. I want to thank the city of Fenton. I want to thank you guys for all the good work you've done for me already. If you didn't hear about it, you guys have done great things for me, for the work that I do, and I sure appreciate it. So with that, hope you've enjoyed it.